and so much more.
Okay, let's start up. The Board of Trustees of the Harris County Department of Education now convened in a board meeting on Wednesday, April 21st, 2021, in the boardroom at 6300 Irvington Boulevard, Houston, Texas, at 1:13 p.m. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present and this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551071 to 551084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking time today to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. Do we have any guests? I imagine I'm going to ask that later. Okay. So we're going to start off with the invocation from Donald Mims. There we go.
Shall we bow? Eternal God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to come together to discuss business of the Harris County Department of Education. We ask your blessings over the board members and all of its affiliates. In your name we pray, amen.
James Stansel, I hope I'm saying that right. Or Jamise, I'm sorry, Jamise. Could you lead us in the pledge of the U.S. flag and the Texas flag, Jamise?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
So we have an open forum pursuant to Government Code 551003. We have public participation. Dan Wardrop, are you here, Dan? These are just the visitors. Then also Jamise, Jamise, you spoke. Okay, this is the visitor list. This is not the speaking list. I'm so excited for someone to speak, but I guess no one's speaking. Okay. So let's just keep going on. We have a superintendent's monthly report. James.
Thank you, President Dick. This will be short. I don't have much to report this month. Just wanted to let the board know that we're actually starting the budget process. Dr. Amesqua has been polishing and oiling his torture mechanisms for all of the divisions to go through for the next couple weeks, where we'll do like 27 meetings in a couple weeks. But true indeed, our business department does a very thorough and efficient job in looking at our budget process every year as we are able to present a balanced budget to our board. Meetings with y'all will be forthcoming, so look forward to that. The other thing I want you to draw your attention to is the flyer that you should have at your station. This is the third mailer that's going out to the citizens of the county. This will go through our impact newsletter. This year, or this flyer is actually focusing on our special schools, our adult ed program, and just putting some emphasis also on Fortis Academy. We, just for laughs and giggles, we've thrown in Dr. Ned's phone number for them to call him personally. So it's I knew it was going out, and it's actually reached the hands of some of our citizens because he started getting phone calls. And so we're looking forward to that. These mailers have been quite successful. Thank you, President Dick, for encouraging us to do it. More than anything, being able to highlight some of our students that we're so very proud of on the front of them. We're looking at doing it again next year. We may tweak and refine that strategy moving forward. After we've done 1 year, we've realized that some methods are more effective than others. With that, that's my monthly report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, James. Any board members have questions for the superintendent? Okay. Moving right along, annual division update on Head Start from Ms. Peacock.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Is it afternoon? Good afternoon.
1 o'clock.
Thank you for this opportunity to report to the board. I would like to introduce my team. I'd like to start off with, my name is Vanita Peacock, and I serve as the Senior Director of the Head Start program. I have some team members present. I have the Assistant Director of Compliance and Family Services, Ms. Goshen Rahman, Ms. Jamise Standstill, Assistant Director of Child Care Partnerships, Ms. Lisa Boone, Assistant Director of Operations and Education, and then my right hand and my left hand to the side of her, Ms. Sharon McBride and Ms. Nancy Augusta. And so we'll start up, we have a video presentation we'd like to share. It'll start off with information that we are required to share by law for our first part of the, and then we want to share with you our journey through COVID.
Today we get the opportunity to share with you the wonderful work that has been done in partnership with all the divisions at Hcde and the Head Start program to support our children and families here in Northeast Harris County. To be sure, this school year started off on a bit of a roller coaster. We were so excited about our new Coolwood facility, expanding into early Head Start, and even changing around our program to make sure that we could fortify our school readiness for both our children and our families. And then we met COVID.
When the pandemic first occurred, we didn't realize it was going to be as long as it was. But once we realized it was going to be a long process, people started putting out guidance and protocols. And so we started getting on that right off. And so to bridge the gap between them getting services and children in the center getting services, we decided to make sure that we sent home things that the families could do with their children while they were at home. So we made sure we planned diaper distribution event because early Head Start is from 0 to 3. We had food distribution events. And then we sent home materials for motor skill development, social and emotional development.
In order to continue providing educational services to families during the COVID pandemic, our agency moved to a virtual model. In this model, teaching staff contacted families twice a week to discuss the school at home calendars and provide parents with strategies on how to implement the activities with their child in the home setting. To prevent the spread of COVID, we have provided each student their own supply box, which includes crayons, scissors, and pencils at a minimum. We have also provided students with individual carpet squares, that they can use when they are sitting in whole group areas on the larger area rug. Toys are cleaned, sanitized, and are disinfected daily.
They have been very, very supportive. Ms. Weston, I guess she's in charge of the building that he's attending now. He had kept contact with me. He had informed me of the resources that are available to me. She had asked me if I need food, if Kieran is well taken care of, if I need help with electricity bills, and that she has all that information, those resources for me if I need them. Just Head Start has been great to us. I mean, I would hardly recommend it to any family that is in need.
I think with any challenges that have presented themselves, we've risen to meet the challenge. Some things we're able to solve quicker than others, but this past year, that's kind of the choice you have, right? We have children and families that need us, and that's maybe the biggest accomplishment of all, is that no matter what people are going through, everybody's going through this scary time together. We all have our own families and our own worries, but we also have students and families in Harris County that need us, and all of our staff stepped right up to the plate. So no matter how they were feeling about their own situation, they showed up, and they've showed up in a way that made parents feel safe about leaving their students at school, and in a way that makes students very excited and happy to be at school. So the biggest accomplishment of all is not something that is on a piece of paper or is in a computer. I would say that the biggest accomplishment and the most meaningful one is the spirit of our Head Start staff.
Here we are, standing, as you can see, at the end of the year, having achieved many things and looking forward to a better, brighter future. Are there any questions?
Members have any questions for Ms. Peacock? Superintendent Colbert?
I would just like to say that our Head Start program does a fantastic job in advocating and taking care of the little ones. You know, having been a super mentor for several years now, I think I've gotten 3 colds from reading to kids every year. There's no better service, I think, that we could be having to impact Harris County than to deal with the youngest of the young students, and coincidentally, some of the youngest parents in the county also. Head Start goes well beyond just working with students. It works with parents and helps them be good parents and responsible parents and understand the relationship that needs to happen between the school district and the parent in raising the child. The other thing I'll say, and the last thing I'll say that's really good about Head Start that a lot of people overlook, is that these kids are healthy. You know, they're not eating Cheetos for lunch. They're getting 2 healthy meals every single day. They have nurses and people who care for them and love them on their campus every single day, and they're getting excited about the educational process at a very young age. So, Ms. Peacock, I commend you and your staff that works for you. They represent you in this county very well, so thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
Before you go, I just want to say personally thank you. I got the chance to read my first book yesterday. And as a part of doing that, of course, my technology was terrible, so I had to make a few phone calls, but I appreciate Ms. Peacock for putting me both calls in front of being able to talk to the kids, but they were super sharp. I mean, and corralling a whole bunch of 3- and 4-year-olds is its own thing when you're trying to read it on the screen, so I commend the staff for being able to do that, but I just want to thank you personally for taking my call when I'm trying to get through and getting me through. But it's been a joy, and I look forward to it for the upcoming months. But thank you very much.
Any other board members have anything?
Yes, I would like to echo the sentiments of Superintendent Colbert and Trustee Norris. I was in a meeting with Ms. Peacock and Dr. Amesquis, and they represented Hcde with the work and the information at a very high level, so I'm really proud of the work you all do, and Dr. Amesquis may be a fortune teller because he answered questions without the lady having to ask. One question turned into 4. I was like, he's on it. So
I wanted to also add that What Wheels Do All Day is the new hot read, by the way. You all should check it out if you didn't get a chance to. Grade A. Thank you. We really appreciated it. It was so much fun to be able to read to the sweet, sweet babies. Loved it. Can't wait
And-
to keep doing it.
And Trustee Peacock, I mean, excuse me, Miss Peacock, not Trustee, excuse me. Miss Peacock, I do have the book from reading to the children too. It was wonderful. I don't know if you want that back. I can give it to you. It's mine to keep. Excellent. But my hopes are that we can open this up more than just board members. I hope that we can open it up to other elected offices, other elected officials, maybe the business leaders and other community members. That's what I'm hopeful we can. I don't know if is it open for the general public to some extent?
So we have super mentors, and every classroom every year gets a super mentor. Mr. Cantu served as a super mentor all year long and all last year. So those are community members. They're sometimes ministers. They're like when we work at a city facility, the folks that work for the city come in and serve as a mentor, so that each class has a committed male role model to their classroom. Also on top of that, we partner with the Women's League, and they have adopted Pew, and so their League of Women group, they come in and read to the students at Pew Elementary in those classrooms.
So, for example, there's a banker friend of mine that she's retiring, and I told her about this thing, and she was just so inspired. She was happy. She'd want to do it.
Okay.
Where do I tell her? Do I give her your information, or how do I do this?
Yes, sir. Give her my information.
So the same with any other board members. If you know any other people that are interested in reading to our children at Head Start, connect them to Miss Peacock. You might get busy, Miss Peacock.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I have a great team to back me up, so we got you.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
I think that, excuse me, President Dick, I think that Trustee Cantu and all of the trustees were probably, we were just discussing maybe having law enforcement to start serving as those people to read to our kids. So we will be sending some people to you, but I just want to say, not only of the good work, but the passion I see through you all is it's awesome. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peacock. Okay, we're going to move on to the annual division update on records management from Mr. Davis.
Good afternoon, Board.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Superintendent. I'm here to bring you the annual board report from Records Management. Last year, we didn't actually have a board report. I don't think we met last year, so we didn't have a board report. So this is kind of a 2-year collaboration of what we've been doing. I was able to bring today 2 of my members, because most of the time I've never been able to bring members, but I was able to bring 2 members, Mr. Donald Mims, who did the invocation, the record center technician, and I think I seen Mr. Anthony Washington back there. He runs the entire records operation. So he's at the door because as soon as I finish, he may have to leave. And I'm sure he'll be running out of here pretty quick. So if you look at the slides here, and I'm sure you have a copy of the presentation in front of you, but the one thing I noticed as I was putting my presentation together, next year is our 30th year anniversary, and we have proof of that. Next year is our 30th year anniversary. I thought it was 91, but it's actually in 92 that we signed on to the Records Act of 1989. So next year is the 30th anniversary. And in that time, we started off in Harris County, serving in more of the school districts in Harris County. At one time, we had 23 of the 25 school districts in Harris County. We kind of lost Hcde to their own factor. They did their own records management thing and have their own facility. But we've branched out into more and more counties over the years. As you can see, the Fort Bend, the Galveston. As recently, we are already all the way into Orange County, where we picked up Viter ISD. And this week, we're going up to Polk County, where we'll pick up Onalaska ISD records. So we're stretching out a little bit more to help the smaller districts with their records needs, because we can do that. We're able and we're recognized all over the state of Texas as the leader in our field of records management. So a lot more districts are reaching out to us. Okay, our services we provide, we're full service. Any and everything that you can do in records management, that's what we're doing. Any new ideas that come up, if we feel that it's a need for our customers, then we will process that. We'll try to find a way to do it. The latest thing that's going on right now is recycling, bin services. A lot of the school districts are wanting to secure bins to put confidential information in, lock and key, and we do a rotation and pick them up every week or every month. And that's getting pretty big. We started that with HCC, and now we're in the city of Houston doing bins. Of course, the city of Houston, it's thousands of bins, but it's all confidential records, so it's still within our realm of records management. Some of the highlights here. In a COVID year, last year, we were able to keep our numbers growing. New boxes coming in, new boxes going out. We're really in the world of 10,000 boxes per year, in and out, new and boxes being removed from storage. So we went a little slight less of 8,000, but we were not able to get into all of the districts last year. Like districts was shut down. We were just not able to get into them. So we expect this year to be very high in services, because most districts are going to catch up. One of the things that I'm pretty proud about is the number of scans that number of images that we did. Our digital services, again, in a COVID year, we did 500,000 records were scanned, and that's pretty amazing. I mean, we worked as much as we could. I mean, we couldn't work every day, all day, but we worked as much as we could to keep up with customer demand. And this year, we're on track to surpass that number and keep going. Some of the key highlights we continue to have a 95% or more customer satisfaction rating with all of our customers. I don't think we had anything lower than that in most of our categories that we have in customer satisfaction. Again, we expanded into 2 more counties last year than we expanded into, and we think this year I'm getting calls from different counties, Washington County, so we're going west. So we're kind of circling the globe of Texas right now within our world of range. Looking at the number of documents that we have scanned, we have to date, we have over 16 million documents scanned. That is a lot of scanner time. That's a lot of people time, a lot of scanner time, and documents coming through our system. They are all in our database, accessible to our customers. Okay. So the trends. So within the world of records, and probably all of the world now, everything is going virtual and digital. So all of your records that you're looking at right now, your papers that you'll have your iPad with that information on there, so you'll never be able to pick up a paper and walk around with it. It should be on your iPad. What we're trying to do right now is to go out to more of the smaller districts that's still in the world of paper documents and get all of their permanent records digitized. And we've been able to do several small district records. So it's not just the old, let's get your transcript digitized. Now it's let's get all business office records transcript digitized. So that's where we are. So it's not the, I said to Mr. Colbert years ago that we would never run out of boxes. Coming in boxes in the building, putting boxes in the building, real estate boxes. And now I'm beginning to think that we are digitizing a whole lot more records, and the box storage is going down and the digitization is going up. So I think I'm on board now. So, I've been doing this for 40 years, so finally. All right. Thank you, guys. Do you have any questions for me?
Trustee Duhon?
I want to make clear for the public what a benefit it is for us to have a records management department through the Department of Education. Every ISD or public entity which is able to get a better rate on records management through us is then saving money that the taxpayers would have to be paying at a higher rate to someone else.
Yes, ma'am.
And so this is on end saving taxpayers dollars. And that's fantastic, and I appreciate it. I recall, probably a little over a year ago, seeing that there was a breakdown on what percentage of the revenue was based on taxpayer dollars and which percentage was based on actual
Services,
income
yes.
services. And I'm wondering if we might have an update on that at all, or an expectation of where it might be going?
Yes, for fiscal year 2020, the department actually was more revenues than expenditures. For this year, I will show you when we go to the financial statements piece where we're at year to date for this year. We're expecting that they're going to be even for the remainder of this year.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Any other, Superintendent?
I'd just like to say our records department has done a fantastic job, and it's through the quality of the services that your crew has done that we continue to get more and more contracts every single year. Right now, as we stand, what is there only 2 school districts in the whole county that we don't maintain the records for?
Yes.
Just 2, because they have their own systems in place. But so much so that this is one of those few services that Harris County provides that extends beyond just public education. We also keep records for the city of Houston.
We keep for the city of Houston, we keep records for several counties as well, and universities and colleges.
So our reach and footprint it exceeds that of just the ISD. So I commend you, your staff who do an impeccable job. Y'all stay up on it. When records went digital, y'all had a learning curve.
Yeah.
And you've tackled that learning curve, and you had to adjust your leadership style to figure out how to maximize, maybe temps in order to make sure that you were still bringing in the kind of revenue that you needed. And so y'all have done a very good job at adjusting. So I appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other board members have any comments, questions, concerns? I note that, so last year we made a profit at this. Do we know roughly what the profit was, or you go over it? And
I'm looking it up.
And then my other question is, counties outside of Harris County, do we make a profit in those transactions?
Yes.
So
There's a delta. They get a higher fee
yes.
than in the county.
okay, so when we're doing Polk County and Orange County, what's happening there is their money is going and we're receiving a profit from that, and we're able to further offset. We're able to provide more services to our residents in Harris County.
Yes, sir.
So it's a very good thing for us to provide services outside the county.
It is. It is. And us being more involved in the ISDs, everyone is noticing. I mean, every time someone leaves an ISD and go to another one, that we get recognition. So if you leave a Galena Park and you go to Huffman, and Huffman is not a customer, we actually get recognition, and that person says, hey, what are we doing with records? I know of a division of Harris County Department of Education that did a wonderful job for us here. We should hire them. So we get a lot of recognition that way.
And the counties in Harris County, do we provide it like at rate or a subsidized rate?
It's a subsidized rate, yes.
Which is good. And that's the whole purpose of our organization. What we're doing is we're taking out of county money, and we're able to provide more services to our school districts in the county, which is what we should do. And I think it's a great methodology to provide better services to our county. Thank you,
I've
Mr.
been
Curtis.
here going on 19 years, and my previous life, we lost customers and records every single year. We lost one customer in 19 years, and now they're back. So I think that's an outstanding record.
Well, I think it's great we're using alternative ways that aren't increasing tax dollars to provide services to our community. I think it's a very good thing you're doing.
Thank you.
The exact number, the revenues over the expenses were $49,838 above the expenses.
And an additional $50,000 that's going to be used for, to provide services for Harris County, which is great. And that's all good stuff. Thank you, Mr. Curtis.
Thank you.
Do we have any reports from any board committees or committee chairs? Seeing none, we're going to move on. Any other reports from board members concerning attendance or participation in a board or HCDE related conference, event, activity, or committee, accolades for an HCDE staff member or other deserving person? Seeing none, we're going to move on. Dr. Mescla, I need you to do your monthly financial reports, please.
The first report are the financial highlights as of March 31st, 2021. All our reports are posted on our website. We'll also review the budget amendment report, which I have some handouts that I need to update as we get closer to approving or the board approves the consensus agenda. The balance sheet as of March 31st, assets are $49,139,351, liabilities of $2,129,249, and equity of $47,135,306. The estimated fund balance as of March 31st, we had a fund balance of $32,713,890, and then we have excess revenues over expenses as of March 31st that will be utilized between now and the end of the year of $12,820,982 for a total equity as of March 31st of $49,139,351. In looking at the ratios, we have the first one, the percentage of fund balance, we're at 62% as of March 31st. Working capital, we're at $47 million, the same thing as last year. Unassigned fund balance ratio, we're at 40%, a little bit below we were at the same time last year. Debt to income ratio, we're at 8%, a little bit more than we were a year ago at 7%. Tax revenue to total revenue, we're at 22% versus 36% last year. Indirect cost ratio at 2%, the same as last year. Fee for service ratio, we're at 13% versus 25% a year ago. And then fee for service revenue growth, right now, because a lot of our revenues are still coming in, we're at -7% versus 46% a year ago. Our fund balance activity, we had amendments from September to December, and we have some amendments that we're going to present this afternoon. Revenues year to date, we're at 75%, whereas the 7th month of the year is typically at 58%. We received a lot of tax dollars in the month of February and March, so we're at 75% of the year in terms of budget to actual. Special revenues is at 25%, debt service 56%. Overall, we're at 63% year to date when we take into account all funds. In terms of expenditures, we're at 46%, so we're not spending at the same pattern, so we're below at 58%. Overall, we're at 36% of the year, so which is a good sign that the expenditures are not linear, and they're likely that we will have savings at the end of the year as well. So we're at below the 58% mark where we're at today. COVID-19 expenditures for general fund, we have available balance of $939,108, and then Head Start HHS funds from COVID-19 of $415,104 for total COVID expenditures that we still have available funds of $1,539,000. $354,212. Donations, there were none for the month of March, but year-to-date, we're at $16,915 in cash and $44,184.20 in kind, for total donations year-to-date of $61,099.20. The collections or the values, we started the year with projecting a values of $511 billion. As of March, we have realized the appraisal district has certified $509 billion, and we still have about $905 million left to be certified. That projects, the projection for that is that we're going to be about $1 billion less than what we projected at the beginning of the year in terms of the value, the appraisal value for all our property. And so that equates to approximately minus $44,903, should that be the only realized at $510 billion. Collections, it was a good collection last month, and so remember that the last 3 months we had been, slow in collection, but February and March were big months. So we're at now a 97.2 collection rate, $24,325,135. So we've collected 97% of the budget. We paid fees of $435,199 to the appraisal district, and the tax office $503,615. So when we compare from a year ago, we're at 97.2. We're actually about almost 2 points ahead from we were a year ago at the same time. Last year we were 95.6 in March. We're at 97.2 right now in March from a year ago. So it's good news that we have our taxes coming in. And so we still have about approximately $600,000 left to collect between now and August 31st, which is our end of the fiscal year. Disbursements for the month have been $3,739,495, 368 checks, 471 transactions, and 6 transfers. And all of those are posted on our website. All the detail is included in our website with the various report in our transparency page. Segment data for various divisions: ECA, educator certification, the variance of minus $175,373. Some revenues are still left for the summer. Records management, currently the vendor variance is minus $271,095. That is projected to even out between now and August. Because this includes encumbrances, you will see that is still negative right now, but it is projected to be even between now and the end of the year. School-based therapy services minus $1,286,635, running at about an 85% ratio. Schools, special schools, running at minus $360,712 in terms of the variance. Choice partners, it is a 75% benefit ratio. Usually it's in the 55%. So far, we've received $2,807,924 from choice partners this year. And so that's a benefit ratio of 75%. Typically, we're in the 50-55% ratio. And so that's actually about plus 20% at this point in time. Amendments, we have 3 general amendments in the general fund, special revenue, and capital projects, and I'll go through some of these. There's some data in your handout that looks like this, that we've added a budget amendment, and so I'll review it in a minute so you can see what some of those amendments are and why we needed to add one amendment to the list. The first one, general fund, we have educational foundation. Those are transferred between accounts. $3,250, so it's just a transfer between one account to another. Educational certification, they're receiving additional $7,000, so we're amending the budget for that additional $7,000. Equine division, $49,000 for some consulting contracted services. $120,000 is for LaPorte Head Start construction, and later on you're going to see an agenda item dealing with some remediation that we need to do and some construction at LaPorte Head Start. So the amendment is here to pay for that. And then the one that you have in your hands was $288,055. This is to repairs that are needed at Sheffield as a result of the winter storm. And so this amendment is designed to include an appropriation, but we're going to be receiving or a reimbursement from the insurance company and also or from the KQC insurance. So we're going to basically not incur that cost, but we do have to have an amendment in order to issue the purchase order. Case, a decrease of $25,000, and those are just to reflect some of the services provided that did not, revenues that are not going to be coming in, so therefore we're reducing the budget on both the revenue and the expenditure for case and after-school program. Some increases in our grants, a number of increases, and these are a number of, just bear with me on the Head Start, because Head Start, we have multiple sources. We receive multiple sources from Head Start, it's not just one big lump sum. So the first one is for Head Start operations, an addition of $273,074. And in front of your packet, you have a handout that looks something like this. It's basically when we look at the budget at the beginning of the year, we go and do an estimate, and then we actually get the NOGA, we adjust it. And so that difference that you see there, the $273,074, it's the adjustment based on what we thought we were going to get, and we're going to get actually more. And so we're amending the budget. In addition, we are also accepting the grant because the federal government is also, they give you an allotment every 6 months. So they give you the first 6 months, they approve it, and then they send you another NOGA for another 6 months. And so that also is included in this acceptance letter from Head Start. Head Start training, in addition to $237, Head Start in-kind, $447,903. The HOG program operations budget for Head Start, $15,990. It's a grant. County Connection Grant, a new grant that we received from the Harris County, $712,250. You also will see an agenda item dealing with this particular program in the contract. Decreases in Head Start operations, $350,000, moving those between a transfer out and then the operations for Head Start, $350,000. And then we have capital projects to be able to pay for LaPorte Head Start, $120,705. So part of the $350,000 is to pay also for the LaPorte Head Start project that later on you're going to see in an agenda item for some of the remediation that needs to be done at that particular Head Start. Foundation, educational foundation update. So March 31st, we have $880,105. Out of that, restricted is $73,709. And basically you have the activity for all the different programs, the contributed report, and also all the different checks that are included to the school districts, to the foundation. In addition to this, earlier today we had received a report from Whitley Penn on the educational foundation audit. It was presented to the foundation, and so they received also an unmodified opinion. And so here you have the letter for the opinion. It will be posted on our website as well. The balance sheet as of August 31st was $1,081,473. As you can see, some of that already been spent in the current fiscal year because this was as of the last fiscal year, August 31st, 2020. In terms of the PFC and the lease revenue project, we've incorporated the first, and we issued the first bid for our new AB School East. And we issued an addendum dealing with a small business program for construction, which basically identifies construction contractors that would be able to bid under the project, and so we targeted a 15% level for the program. Capital projects, where we're at today, $46,267,870. Earlier today, we had a PFC meeting, and in that PFC meeting, there was a report where it didn't quite print out well, so I went ahead and printed it out again, so it's in your packet. It says on the top with page highlights. It's basically the same report that I'm reviewing here, but this one is, you can see it all in one page. The column that we couldn't see in that page is the $46,267,870. That's how much of it is available as far as unencumbered funds. The capital proposal from August the 3rd, 2020, the same program continues. Capital project and the bond issues, the two bond issues that we had. And another project that is underway is Coolwood. We're still working to try to get the land acquisition completed. A lot of due diligence that has taken place in order to finalize the land acquisition for that. And then LaPorte Head Start that I mentioned to you, that there's an agenda item for mold remediation amount of $120,000 for that particular project. Any questions on the financial statements, that first part of the report?
I don't see that we have any. Any board members have any questions? Trustee Cantu?
It goes way back. I should have asked it earlier because
sure.
I can't remember what section it was. You were comparing this year and last year, the percentages, I guess, of revenue.
Okay, here.
There was one you mentioned was -7% compared to last year.
Are you talking about the ratios?
Yes. Several of them were lower
yes.
this fiscal year than last year, and there was one that was a -7. I just wanted to ask in general, are there
yes,
any of those
it's related to COVID-19
that are concerning to you for any reason?
No, not at this time, because some of those are going to, there's some of those revenues are going to, there's also, there is less revenue in some areas, but there's less expenditures as well. So we manage both sides of the equation. So a division manager, if the revenue doesn't come in, the expenditure doesn't take effect. So that's where you see the percentages. When I was talking about the revenues, we're at 75% in terms of the revenues, but on this terms of the expenditures, we're only at 46%, which is about 12% below the norm. And so at this point in time, it's still not a time of concern. If we were already in the, say, in the last month of the year, we would probably be a area of concern, but we're not there yet. There's enough time to where we can still adjust our budgets. Mm-hmm.
Quick question. You mentioned I think you said the 15% was that for the small business?
Yes, sir.
And that is for the
construction
contract. That's the program that what was that, last year when we passed
yes,
that? Okay,
right. So we're implementing that in the new notices that went out for the first project. And so that's going to impact, whatever bids we come back, it's, it'll be reflective of that program.
I guess, is there a point, I guess what I would love to see is, at some point, I don't know exactly when, we would actually see some results, so maybe these projects compared to previous projects, and we could say, oh, well, this program is actually, making a difference. I don't know.
We're going to have reporting, to identify that, that they met the requirements, and so we'll be able to come back with a comparison.
Okay, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Any other board members had questions, concerns, comments? One question I did have for you, Dr. Mesqua, is so you said we have 46, we're 12% below on our expenses?
Yes.
Do you think that, my question to you is, do you think that it looks like that's going to continue, that we're going to end up having our expenses less than before? Or?
Generally, we do. We do have anywhere between 3 and 5%. I don't expect it to be 12, but I do expect it to be at least anywhere between 3 and 5. And so that's just a function of some of the, if the revenue doesn't plan out, then the expenditure is not utilized. And we have that discussion with the division managers that they manage their entire budget on both sides of the equation.
Looks like we may be below budget or under budget, which would be a good thing. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
It would be a good thing, right?
Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, we want to target to do that.
Want to be above budget. We like being below budget.
And,
Excellent.
You know, in order to be above budget, it would have to come back an amendment to you to do that. So, but for under budget, we'll see that in the August, September timeframe.
Okay. So that's a good trend. If we have a surplus, that's always a good trend.
Investment report as of March 31st, I wish I could report better rates, but not right now yet. March 31st, we have a portfolio of $93,332,430. The Public Facilities Corporation of $31,581,046. Lone Star Pool, Chase, Texas Class, Texas Star, Texpool, where all the monies are invested in various investment pools. The PFC, the funds that are with the PFC are primarily with Texpool and Bank of Texas. A comparison from a year ago, change is $45,377,121, or 95% change from a year ago. All our funds are overnight at this point in time, and you will see why, you know, pretty much are overnight. And the reason for there's no incentive to go out any longer because of the rates where we're at today. Year-to-date interest, $16,916 and $4,909 on the PFC, earning two basis points versus the benchmark of 2 basis points as well. So as you can see that the pools are it's really at an all-time low on the month of March, which is 01 to 04. I didn't think that 3 months ago we were going to get there, but we're there. The next thing to look at is the Fed going to accept negative interest rates, where you basically have to pay to be able to put your money in the bank, because you know you have negative return. You know, so we're almost there. You know, where you almost you're not going to get anything out of your interest rate. So these are the rates. So there's really not a lot of incentive to see be able to maximize the interest rates, because they're 0.1, 0.2, 0.0125, 0.04. So there's not a whole lot of room to make a lot of risk, or add on more risk and not receive return. Any questions on the report before the final report?
So have questions for Dr. Amezcua? See none?
Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Okay. So we're going to the consensus, and if I remember right, we need to do 6A2 by separate vote. Is that right? Okay. So minus 6A2, is there anything we want to take off the consensus agenda? Trustee Duhan.
I want to pull, just for questions, to clarify, E12, 13, 14, and 15.
6E, B. 12. Okay. Any other board members want to pull anything?
Yes.
Trustee Cantu?
D 1, 2, and 3,
Okay.
and F 1 and 2.
Any other board members want to take anything off of the consensus agenda? Trustee Inosa?
Can you just
confirm which items on the agenda were pointed out during the report?
Okay, I've noted them. So the ones we're pulling off the consensus agenda are, let me get to the front. 6A2, 6D 1 to 3, 12, or excuse me, 6D, what was my at? E 12 through 15, F 1 and 2. I think that's the ones we're pulling off. Oh, no. Excuse me. Dr. Mesko only referred to 6A2. Okay. That's the one he's referring to, yeah. Any other, okay. Then do we have a motion for approving the consensus agenda minus the items I specified a minute ago?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second by Trustee Hinojosa. Motion made by Trustee Norris. Do we have any discussion on this? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Okay. So 6A2. Dr. Mesko, if you would explain that.
The first one is the amendment to for Sheffield, $288,055, where we're going to be getting insurance from KQC Insurance for the project. And the second one is to accept the Head Start grant in the amount of $6,049,728 in addition to the budget amendments that were presented to you. So it's the acceptance to the grant and the budget amendment as well, the related budget amendment. And so that you see that in the second page of your handout.
Okay, so do we have a motion for 6A2?
And just to clarify, the motion would be to approve the budget amendment and to accept the Head Start grant in the amount of $6,113,791.
Do I have a motion for that?
Oh, so moved.
Motion made by Trustee Norris. Do we have a second? Second by Trustee Cantu. Do we have any discussion on this? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Mesko. So now we're going to consider 6D 1. Consider ratification for approval of the following interlocal contracts: Case for Kids revenue agreement with Harris County for the period of 4/22/2021 through 9/30/2021 in the amount of $712,250. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Cantu. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Norris. Do we have any discussion? This is where maybe we explain this. What questions do we have for this? Or please proceed.
So you guys are very familiar with what we do with the city, and we take some of their tax base and we re-grant it out in proportion by the City Council District Fund. So they contract with Case, who has the relationship with several out-of-school time providers. We run the RFP with our local purchasing department, and we issue the grant awards. So the county was very jealous. The county wanted in on it. And so the city's runs for the fall and spring, and the county is looking to invest in summer. Summer is a critical time right now, especially due to COVID. And as we know, my own camp, I run after school programs. My own camp shut down that my kids have been going to for the last 7 years. They just did not make it financially through last summer. And so it's really important that the county is investing in summer right now, and we're very excited to be a partner. We will issue the RFP this Friday if you guys approve, and we will start promoting to the community and be able to issue awards by this summer.
Excellent. Any board members have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Carruthers. I was just going to ask about locations, sites.
So the funding is available.
Number of kids served. I don't know if we can if we know that yet, but.
Well, we don't know that. We have estimates, and so we have, there's 4 precincts inside the county. We have kept it very open-ended since this will be the first time doing this. And so we set $20,000 caps, but we kept it open-ended so that the organizations can apply for whatever they're proposing to do. We have 3 categories. One is project-based camps, which is more like a week-long camp, and then for a content area like robotics. And then some are comprehensive, that's a different category. So I go all summer and I open all day. And so those aren't really to be compared to the projects. So projects and programs, and the last one is virtual college and career readiness for older youth that will go into our Level Up platform. So we kept it really wide open so we can see the applicant pool that we will get. So again, the county boundaries are much larger than the city. We know those city people are just going to be chomping at the bit to get this money. What we don't know is how many from the broader outside of the city county region will be coming after these funds as well. And so the goal is to divide it evenly by the precinct as much as possible. So the 4 precincts, each getting it as close as possible to 25%. But it is kept very open so that people can apply for what they need, and then we can assess through the review process and make the grant awards accordingly. And all data can be presented out as we collect it. We know last year we collected over $1 million in requests just for our own partnership project funding, which is $500,000. And so I would imagine we're going to see much larger than what they have available for funding.
One more question. This is new money?
New money. It is connected with COVID relief funds that have been gone into the Harris County budget. This is a one-time contract. We hope to build the relationship and do such a fabulous job that they integrate it into their routine and their ongoing regular Harris County tax-based budget.
I have a question.
Oh, Trustee Davis, please.
Who decides what programs, I know you've mentioned 3 or 4 and divided by the 4 precincts. Who makes that decision on, go ahead.
So that's what we do. So CASE being an after-school intermediary, we don't actually deliver programs. Now, you hear the closest thing we get to that is those fabulous EcoBot and CASE debates. But as far as comprehensive program or project-based program, we're a neutral force. We rally the community. So my staff, my 25 staff, are content area experts. So us, as well as other funding partners in the community, from United Way and different entities like the City of Houston, we will score these applications. So we as internal staff score and rate them. Then they get put into a rubric for assessment, and then we will have to do the division on the 25% and what projects and the amount. Oftentimes, again, the request might come in at 1.5 million, but there's only 600 and some odd to give out. So then there'll be assessments. If we see overinflated budgets, we will tell them this is an overinflated budget. Will you be willing to, you asked for 10,000, are you willing to accept 5,000 and be in partnership? And they'll say yes, because I want my $5,000. Or they'll say no, it's not worth the paperwork for me to be involved in that. Sometimes the city wants to fund like $500, and people will say, no, I don't want $500 for the paperwork. It is an assessment, but our content area expertise and scoring in a rubric.
Thank you.
Board members have any other questions or concerns? Okay. Seeing no more discussion, let's put it up for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Let's go to D2, ratification of service agreement expenditure with Boys and Girls Club Houston for partnership project grant award in the amount of $40,000 to serve Harvard Club and Holt House Club for a total of 200 students. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Cantu and seconded by Trustee Brown. Okay. Do we have any discussion on this? And if you would, please, could you provide us some information on this?
So Boys and Girls Club has multiple sites, of course, being a large-scale after-school time provider. They won a grant previously from City Connections earlier in the year, and then they got a second grant through our Partnership Project Initiative, which then brought their price, their $40,000 plus their $10,000. It brings it to the board for a $50,000 in aggregate. So this is coming to you guys. If they get summer programming, you'll see them again with the Harris County because it will be because now they're over 50 already.
Excellent. Any board members have any questions, discussion? Trustee Cantu?
Yeah, so this is additional money going to the Boys and Girls Club?
So they originally got a City Connections grant for certain sites, and then their partnership grant is for 2 other sites because they run like 15 programs. And so the partnership project grant that is this contract is for 2 sites, Havard and the Holt House.
Okay. Seeing no more, any other discussion? I'm seeing no more discussion. So let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Passes unanimously. Let's go to D3, ratification of amendment number 1 to interlocal contract, expenditure contract with Houston ISD for fiscal year 21, Case for Kids Partnership Project, grant to increase award amount by $64,100. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Cantu. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Norris. If you would, we're going to have discussion, so we're having discussion. If you would, could you explain, please?
So this is actually unique due to COVID situation. We had some unspent funds based on COVID, our budget that we planned, and we were able, and what I did hear from the board members in a request around our partnership project is to make sure we were to go to as many schools as possible and not always have the same schools. I heard that in our board meeting when I did my board report. And what we did was we were able to find some unspent funds that we could not do because of COVID. We put that money towards partnership project to go further down our awardee list, and these are the sites. And so HISD already had some sites that had been awarded, and now these are the additional ones that we were able to award through partnership project. So we made the project bigger.
Thank you.
Any board members have any further discussion on this issue? Seeing none. Oh, Trustee Cantu?
I wasn't able to see the backup on those 5 program sites. Do you have the list there, what sites those are?
I do have the list. I'd be happy to email it to Carla to send out, or I could look through here and read it to you. It's Dogan Elementary, Revere Middle School, Valley West Elementary, Whidbey Elementary, Burnett Elementary are the additional campuses.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the department, or questions or discussion? Seeing none, let's put it up for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Passes unanimously. Okay, we'll move on to E12. Consider approval to rescind contract number 21/020 SG-02 for early childhood supplies and related items to Allison's Trading Corp., DBA Allison's Montessori and Educational Materials. Do I have a motion? Motion made by Trustee Duhan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Norris. If we could, we're going to have discussion, and could the department explain this item?
I just want to say I see that 12 and 13 are both rescinding for not accepting the standard terms. But I just want to get an idea of what these terms are that they're not accepting.
Okay. Yes. Basically, both of these were brand-new vendors awarded to Choice Partners. And we started the discussion and said, okay, here's how the contract works. The 2% admin fee, and they said they just didn't understand, and therefore they were not willing to pay the admin fee. So it was just basically a not understanding of the terms of the contract, working with a purchasing cooperative.
And while you're here, maybe you could explain agenda items 14 and 15?
Okay.
If the board is not opposed to that?
Okay.
Really quickly though,
Yes.
what is Committee for Children?
The first one is a Montessori school.
Sure.
And they wanted to basically sell their services, but they didn't understand there was a fee. I don't know a lot about Committee for Children, to be honest. They're obviously an awarded vendor, and this is early childhood supplies. They could be selling classroom material. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I believe that they're both Montessori-related type entities. Okay.
Thanks.
Could we explain, did we explain 14 and 15 if we have
Yes,
any other questions?
14 and 15 are go ahead.
Questions for 14 and 15?
Any more? Anything else?
It's just an explanation request, that's all.
Okay, yeah, 14 and 15 are both parallel items. They are basically, we have field reps that started going back into the field early in the fall, and we just basically approved a certain amount of 3 or 4 or 5 months. We really didn't know where everything was going, COVID related. So this is basically just to fund them through the end of the fiscal year, through the end of August. These are our field reps that are out talking to vendors and visiting members and things like that.
If the board has no more concerns, maybe is it possible to amend? Or do we have to do these one by one, or can we do 12 to 15? Can we amend the motion?
You can certainly amend the motion, and it would be a friendly amendment if trustees Duhan and Norris agreed to approve items 12 through 15 together.
We agree.
Okay. Does the board have any further discussion on agenda items E12 to 15? Seeing none, let's put it for vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Okay, let's go to F1. That is, would you be opposed if we did F1 and 2 together in conjunction, maybe? Can we? Is it different staff? If it's different staff, then we'll do them one by one. I'm just getting on a pattern of getting them through. So let's go to F1. Consider approval of the contract award for job number 21/026YR, contracted services for adult education for the following proposal. Gail Stanford for the period of 4/21/21, or 4/21/21 through 4/20/2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by trustee Norris. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Cantu. Would the department care to, we have some questions on this. Would the department care to explain this item for us? Is this the department? Internal purchasing?
Transparently and honestly, I did not put this on the board agenda for adult ed, so I'm not sure. This must be something from purchasing, a contracted service for adult education. Was that procurement?
Item number 1 is contracted services. We put in our RFP for contracted services for vendors that will provide vocational services. And this particular vendor provides consulting services for science workshops for students that need to pass the GED exam. And so this is the award. It was evaluated and recommended to be submitted and approved. So that's what item F1 is.
So, do we have any other further discussion from the board? Do we have any questions we want to ask trustee Cantu?
Yeah, I was wondering about the contract time frame of 5 years. I was wondering if that was standard or is there some-
Yeah, we usually go for anywhere between 1 to 5 years. You can select to use them during that period of time or not.
Okay.
And so that's just so that we can have them on a bid or on a proposal, And if there's a need for that service, then you'll be able to contract with this particular vendor. They will have a need for others because they're not the only ones. They're constantly trying to get additional vendors for additional programs, workforce development programs. And so in this case, GED needs, because the students need to pass the science part of the exam. And so when I read through the information is that they provide workshops on how to attack the GED exam for GED students.
I had a similar question about the term for the item number 2 as well. So is that the
Yeah,
same
so
case?
they're all 5 years, and that's because to make it available for the department. So because there's a cost every time that you put out a bid and to renew that, and so that way they will be available on the bid. And so whenever you need them for that period of time, you'll be able to utilize them and expedite the process for procurement.
Thank you.
Johan?
Do you know if Gail C. Stanford is an organization or a
It's
person?
an individual. It's an independent contractor.
Okay. And I assume that she has a history of doing this type of consulting, and that's why
Yeah,
she's
she
being
has done
recommended.
consulting. She has worked with Houston Community College, the school districts, and there's a resume behind
Sure.
the proposal which I read, and basically qualified to provide that service.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other board members have comments? What I would suggest, if our board is willing, is to consolidate this motion to include F2 as well, if there's no concerns. So do we have a friendly amendment for that? Okay, so friendly amendment, okay. And no more discussion, chance to discuss is passed. So let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Passes unanimously. Excellent, okay. Now let's get to the non-consensus agenda. Consider approval of 2021 to 2022 HCDE work holiday calendar. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Brown.
Second.
Do I have a second? Trustee Norris. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise our hand. Passes unanimously. 7B, consider adoption of the revised board operations procedure. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Norris. Do I have a second?
Second. Second.
Okay, second by Trustee Brown. Do I have any discussion? Trustee Duhan.
Can we have an overview of what's changed? Yes, these are the revised procedures that the board discussed at our board retreat that we had at the Museum of Natural Science. Numerous provisions have been updated, including huge shout out to comms for making this look so beautiful, because before it was just this ugly Word document with a bunch of black and white words because I did it. So thanks to comms for making it much more readable and friendly. So all of the information's been updated with regards to programs and services. I think the last updated version of the board operating procedures was back in 2015. So there have been significant revisions to the numbers, of course, and as well as to the divisions. Updated org chart. And then I did go through and revise various provisions to comport with policies that had changed. To make sure that everything was accurate and a reflection of the current board policies. Other than that, though, yes, and of course, as the board discussed at its retreat, its committee membership, that is updated and now is accurate on starting on page 24, board committee and delegate assignments. But other than that, substantively, the big changes were to comport with revised policy, like public comment, for example, because that changed, because the law changed. But other than that, it was just an update to include accurate information.
Any other board members have any more questions? I do have one on page 10 of the organizational chart. So what I don't understand is the connection with the attorney for the superintendent and not to the Board of Trustees? That's what I don't understand.
There used to be another line there. There used to be a line to both. So we can get that changed.
Yes, that's typically had 2 lines. I don't know what's happened with that, but we can certainly get that corrected.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's certain, it's not intentional.
Very good. Any other board members have any more questions? So that's going to be revised, right?
That'll be revised, and then additionally, and you'll note that the last page includes blanks for your signatures, and Ms. Clark has for us a single page that we'll pass around for each of you to sign. That will be included in the final version as well.
So when we're considering, yeah, it's the revised version.
Yes,
So
sir.
as for the motion, it's the revisions as we are articulating today, right? That's the
Yes, sir.
motion, right? Okay. Let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimously. Move to 7C, consider adoption of increasing the budget for Irvington Administration Building renovation project in the amount of not to exceed $2,600,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, motion made by Trustee Norris, seconded by Trustee Cantu. Do we have any discussion on this? Oh, yes, Superintendent.
Yes, I just wanted to expand on this. I've had an opportunity to sit down with really all of y'all and discuss this project. I just want to update you on the current status of where we're at with the Irvington building, and it's a mix of bad and good. But fortunately, I have more good to report than bad at this time. When we met last time and discussed the revisions of this project, we saw that we were over budget by something like $2.3 million. It really is, just to bring some focus to that, was a combination of really 3 things. First of all, renovations, you really never know what they're going to look like until you start getting above the ceiling tile, inside the walls, and all the other little nuances. It's far more intricate to do a renovation than it is to do new construction because you don't know what you'll anticipate. And so that has had its barriers. The second part is something that we talked about with the code issues and bringing this building up to current codes versus 1986 codes. We talked about the sprinkler suppression system that needs to be installed throughout the entire building. So that's certainly an obstacle. But now we're faced with a new obstacle, not only with this project, but with all the other projects, and that is the cost of materials. At one time, I was pressed to get these things done so we could try to stay on schedule and get into the buildings in a timely fashion. Really, I'm still pressed to get them done, but it's in order to try to beat the elevated cost of materials. This is a systemic problem happening nationwide right now in both commercial and residential, and I can speak from personal experience on that. And so it seems to me, and even with our other projects, the longer that it's taken for us to solidify contracts and get going, for everybody, not just Harris County Department of Ed, we're gonna have an issue, everyone's gonna have an issue of dealing with the cost. Now, here are the positive. The positive things is that currently ABS East is under budget. And so we have been able to find some slack in that budget that we can use to absorb our over budget position with this project. In addition to that, when we built AB West, we ultimately came in that project under budget somewhere in the tune of $1.1 million. And so we've got some slack with that too. Both of these things we can use to transfer over to help us with our over-under with this project. However, we don't know exactly pinpoint what that will be because we have to get ABE started, bidded on, contracted, the whole 9 yards. When we met last time, we talked about a list of wants and needs. And having met with my staff and discussed and looked at some of the things that we had already compromised on that I initially wanted but wasn't able to get, to be quite honest with you, as the superintendent of Harris County Department of Ed, I would say that the entire list is a list of needs, and I don't see a list of wants. Everything that we have requested to the board is something that I think is essential for us to be able to bring this building up to the standard that I think that you would be proud of. And I think the administration has done an exceptional job in being fiscally responsible of every project we've done in the past, and certainly will continue doing that in the future. So what I'm asking the trustees right now is for the board to give us approval to proceed with this project, but to allow the administration not to exceed $2.6 million, which, to be fair, I don't think we'll come anywhere close to that with the slack that we have from the other budgets. And so we can get going with this project because it's been suspended and on pause at this time. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and we also have some guests here that can also might be able to help you with questions that I can't answer.
Any board members have any, or wait, hold on, let me take a step back. So we made the motion, now we're in the discussion phase, right? Okay, so any other board members have any discussion on this?
And I guess I think what I remember last time when we discussed this, one of the issues was that we hadn't had a board retreat meeting yet. And so we didn't know what all of our priorities were going to be. And I just want to make sure that, now that we have had a board meeting, we've said these are the big things that we want to get done this year. How does this come into that, for clarification purposes? Because I think that was one of the big holdups last time. We were just saying, well, we don't know what we want to spend on other things yet. So this is another almost $3 million. So
yeah, thank you. Well, I think that's a good point, Trustee Norris. Right now, fiscally, we're going to be going out for additional bonds regardless. We've got some other projects that we even discussed at the retreat that we're going to be looking at. And just as Dr. Amesqua keeps reporting on how low the interest rates are, it's the time to borrow money. And so we're going to be coming back to the board looking to take out additional bonds for some other maintenance projects and other projects that we're looking at going into. And so certainly, if we have any issues, that will be able to help us with this moving forward. I think that right now we're on track with what we discussed at the retreat. Now, there's still some unknown with that because we got to get further down the road, and there's some facility implications with some of the things we discussed at the retreat. But currently, with our current projects and our borrowing capacity moving forward, I think we're in a good position. Now, I will tell you that the budgets with adult ed, with our High Point East project, cost of materials are going up. Mm-hmm. And so what we originally brought to the board as a budget to build a middle school is disproportionate somewhat now because of the cost of materials. It's not, I don't know that anyone really foresaw this type of an impact on construction, but it is what it is.
Any other board members have any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none.
I would like to say that I think that whenever we saw the presentation at the last board meeting, that I was probably not the only one that felt as though it was being presented as though this was going to be a little bit of an ornate remodel, extremely nice remodel, and that it was well over budget. And the request was, can you find ways to bring it back down? Can you please find ways for us to look at some options of what we could do in order to ensure that we are being good stewards of these tax dollars? And what I'm hearing is that we cannot offer those options. And I do not like that. I don't think of that as a way for us to be able to ensure that we are doing the job that we're here to do. And I think that that's not the answer. I think that there are things that we can do to bring this budget down a little bit, and I would like to hear what they would be.
Well, if the board is in a position where you want to stall this project, and so we can go over every single component of the renovations of this project, I think the discussion would need to start with whether we are truly committed to renovating it. Because many of the things that we've requested, I don't think that they were unrealistic requests at all. And I don't think that we were trying to build a Taj Mahal of an administration building. I have seen very few ugly renovations, and so most renovations are nice renovations. And so I just think that, we could sit down and look at all the components. I think it's very subjective when we look at wants and needs. That something that I would think that is a need, others might be considering a want. And so I just think we need to consider, if the board doesn't want to take action on this, we should probably have a workshop and determine whether we really want to renovate this building at all.
Trustee Davis?
Oh, so when I mentioned the wants and needs, we still are in the middle of a pandemic, and we do want renovations. I'll speak for myself. I do want that the employees are coming to a place that is up to standard. I just think that everyone, I'll speak for myself, are just assessing how we are spending in this type of environment that we're in. And I think that is still my concern today.
Well, I will say that this department has demonstrated consistently good stewardship for taxpayer dollars at every turn. And that's one reason why we get attacked on everything but that. Yeah. We have demonstrated time and time again that we've self-regulated ourselves. Dr. Amesqua and I were just talking the other day that every single year when we look at the tax rate, we leave money on the table, which very few governmental entities do that. They try to justify the money that they could get because without even raising the tax rate and just adopt the effective tax rate. We don't do that. We put $600,000 back on the table. And so every decision that I think that is made, Dr. Amesqua, spends 30, 40 minutes every board meeting going over and scrubbing over the numbers. We try to be transparent. We try to be fiscally responsible. I don't think the optics of this, if the board chose to approve us proceeding with this, would look like we're taking advantage of taxpayers or exploiting a pandemic to renovate a building, a decision that was decided prior to, or I don't know if it was prior to, so let me not say that, but I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think that that would be the optics whatsoever. And to be fair, that at the end of the day, once we took monies from other projects, the 2.6 won't be 2.6. It will be something other than that. But I can't tell you exactly what that is. I don't want the board to think that I'm trying to insult you by saying that it's like an all or nothing. But having looked over all the things that we could do, I don't disagree, Ms. Trustee Duhan, that we could trim out significant things to bring this into the scope of the budget. But if we had to take those things out, I would rather not do the renovation. We're in code right now. We're having a board meeting in here right now.
Trustee Inosa?
So I just have a question for clarity. First of all, Trustee Duhan, Trustee Davis, thank you. Appreciate your pushback. I think it's important anytime we discuss increases that there's some, if you feel like there needs to be pushback, I really appreciate that. But I just want to get some clarity. There has been no changes in the plan that we've already previously approved, correct? This is the reason for the increase is because to bring it up to code, the increase in cost of materials, and then whatever additional things you might have found once you actually started investigating the changes that you need to make. So there's no actual changes in the original plan that we've already approved. It's just of the changes in the cost of material and stuff.
I think you bring up a good point, but let me restate it differently. The plan of everything we presented has always been the same. The difference is we didn't project an appropriate budget. We under-projected what the cost of what we had originally planned was going to do, and then we ended up over-under. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an idea of the percentage of that came from the increase in cost of materials? Is that mostly coming from the cost of materials?
If Rich or, JP could help me, you could talk more about the cost of materials.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. One interesting statistic that I think will be helpful for the board to understand is since 2020, February, March of 2020, there's been a 12.9% increase in the total cost of construction. That is the single largest increase in the 35-year history of the AGC tracking those costs. So as anyone who's estimating a project would tell you, it's very difficult to plan on worldwide pandemics and unprecedented cost rises like this. So this is the battle we're facing as we try and complete this project.
would that probably run into some of the other projects too?
Absolutely. This is going to overlap. The kinds of product impacts that we're seeing with brass, steel products, chipboard, all of the major components of your projects are experiencing incredible cost increases. Some of the highest being in the PVC. We all know that what's happening to PVC around here if you've experienced some broken pipes, but there's also producer inputs that are problematic. There were plant shutdowns, so the pellet materials that are used to fabricate PVC, PVC roofing, PVC piping, all are missing from the marketplace. So there's incredible product pressure as the consumer is trying to acquire those products.
Ms. Langlois just put up an article that lumber is up 193%.
Yeah, lumber's an easy target. It's up year over year. It is up, I lost the number, 270%.
270%?
Yes, 270%. PVC is up 85%. And the PVC is up 270%, excuse me. Lumber is, Sarah, you said what number?
According to this
62%?
Fortune article, it's 193%.
Yep.
And says it's about to spike even higher.
Yes. April 2020 and February February 2020 to April 2020, 62% jump in lumber, 20% increase in wallboard and glass mat products. The list goes on and on, really. Bar joist up 8%. Lumber, as we just talked about. Everything's being impacted right now. There's a lot of economic stimulus money coming this way, and that isn't even factored into the information that we're sharing right now. When and if that stimulus money starts to turn shovel-ready projects into actual projects, you can expect additional pressure on these prices.
You want?
Fully recognizing that there is a hike in supplies costs right now. I realize that we received a really pretty layout of the engineering of what is being recommended for the upgrades, the updates to the building. But did we ever receive an estimated layout of the budget and what each portion of that would be for?
We did some analysis following the board meeting and identified that over 75% of the cost was in things like code requirements, beyond useful life, and operational efficiency, meaning that of the overage, there's only a small percentage of it that could be attributable to niceness, wants, if you want to use that term. So overall, it was a very small fraction of the total dollars, and consistent with the mission of the department, I think that's the recommendation you're getting from your superintendent.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm requesting that information in some way to help us ensure that we are making a good decision with the tax dollars. I cannot make that decision without that information.
So that was exactly the type of information I was asking for the last meeting, which is great that the 75% of for code, safety, I mean, that's important to know, whether you want to call it wants or needs. We know what wants and needs look like. And so I just wanted to make sure as well. And that sounds good. So can you tell me that one more time, 75%?
75% of the cost attributable to things like code compliance, beyond useful life, and operational efficiencies.
Okay.
With the balance of the project cost being in other categories.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so any other board members have any questions or concerns? Okay, I know, so Trustee Duhon, I know you have concerns on this. What could are your concerns satisfied with what you heard, or would you like more information?
No, I feel like hearing 75% helps me to understand that that is likely the information that is true, but I'd like to see a breakdown. And if I can't have that breakdown, I cannot conscionably vote yes on this.
I understand that. So then I'm going to ask the remainder of the board. There's different ways we can do this. So one way we could do it, when could or maybe I ask the department first, how long would it take to get that information? How much energy would y'all put at getting that information? Would it not, I imagine it wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah, we could have that by the end of the day.
So we can have it by the end of the day. Then another question is, if we're going to do it that way, maybe one path would be we bump this to the very end of the agenda item. Could we bump this to the very end of today's meeting? We get that information, and then maybe that might be the resolution. We okay with that? After executive, or whenever y'all get that information.
Well, why don't we get a confirmation first? Will we be able to have that in about an hour?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we can move this agenda item to after executive session.
Yeah, let's do it that way. I'm trying to run a clean ship.
Just for formality
sir.
purposes, Trustee Norris and Trustee Cantu, do you agree to withdraw your motion at this time?
Then we're gonna, by agreement, we're pulling that item and putting it at the end of after executive session, right? So we're okay. Okay. Let's go to D. Consider adoption of a resolution concerning emergency administrative leave with pay in accordance with policy DEA associated with Winter Storm Uri and its aftermath beginning 2/15/2021 and continuing through 2/22/2021. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Motion made by Trustee Norris. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion on this? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for a vote. Passes unanimously. E, consider approval to renew the county school trustees of Harris County, State of Texas assumed name record certificate of ownership for incorporated businesses or profession filed with the county clerk of Harris County. Do I have a motion? Motion made by Trustee Norris. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion on this? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. F, consider approval of the project delivery contract method, a job order contracting and approval for job order contract for water damage and repairs at Sheffield Head Start due to Winter Storm Uri. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Norris. Do I have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. G, consider approval of change order number 1 for the contract contingency in the amount of $44,300 and change order number 2 in the amount of $120,704.83 to the Nash Industries contract for renovations of the existing LaPorte Head Start campus. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Norris. Do I have a second? Second made by Trustee Brown, I think. Was that, did I hear? Okay. Do we have any discussion? No discussion. Let's put it for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Passes unanimously. Consider approval of Amendment 1 to Services Agreement Expenditure with EdOp Solutions, LLC, and HCDE Adult Education Division of Educational and Vocational Training, Certificate Programs, Customers, Administrative Assistant, and Tech Program Services. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Cantu. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Cantu.
Yeah, I'd just like to hear what we're getting for that extra 20,000.
Yes, the additional 20,000 would net us to be able to serve about 30 more students. This vendor has worked with us over the last 3 years. They have an excellent track record of placing our students in jobs.
Any other questions? We satisfied? Okay. Let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Consider approval of Amendment 1 to Services Agreement Expenditure with HTEC, Houston's Training and Education Center, and the HCDE Adult Education Division for Educational and Vocational Training, Business Office Specialist Certified, I don't know that word, Phlebotomy Tech Services. Phlebotomy, okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Cantu. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second made by Davis, I think? Okay. Do I have, okay, second, do we have any discussion?
Yeah, basically the same question, I guess, for this one and the next one. They're both $20,000, additional $20,000, so.
Sure, similar to the EdOp solutions, both of the next I and J. These vendors have worked with us for the past 3 years. Our students have an interest in these programs, as well as they have relationships with employers, so they're getting jobs.
Additional students will benefit.
Additional students will benefit. For the I and J, it'll be approximately 35 each. You're welcome.
We satisfied? Any other board members have any questions? Seeing none, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Okay. J, consider approval of amendment number 1 to services agreement expenditure with Dean Staff Solution and the Hcde Adult Education Division for educational and vocational training, medical assistance pathway, and certified phlebotomy tech services. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have motion made by trustee Norris. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Cantu. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Okay, then we are at K, right? Consider approval of $4,765,112 request to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, Office of Head Start, OHS. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by trustee Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Norris. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. L, consider approval of interlocal agreement revenue with Alden ISD and Hcde Center for Safe and Secure School Division for school safety audits over a 3-year cycle. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by trustee Norris, seconded by trustee Cantu. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Oh, we got it.
I'm sorry.
So was it 6? Is it 7? It's abstaining, so 6 yes and 1 abstention. We're going to executive session under government code pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by section 551001 to 551084, including but not limited to 551071 and 551074. We're in executive session. It's 4:22 p.m. We're back from executive session. Going back to the agenda, we had an item which we delayed, which was consider approval of increasing the budget for Irvington Administrative Building renovation project in the amount not to exceed $2,600,000. So do I need to make that motion again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do we have a motion for that agenda item?
So moved.
Motion made by trustee Cantu. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Brown. We're in the discussion portion. I think that, yes.
Yes, President Dick, I would have JP with LAN to come up and kind of explain what's before the trustees.
All right, trustees, when we presented to you back in March, the request was for some additional information to help you understand exactly how this project was broken down. So we worked with the architect closely to identify 4 major categories. And if you look at the document that you have in front of you, you'll identify the code required cost. Next column over, equipment beyond its useful life, operational efficiency, and refresh. The bottom line total on page 7 of 7 shows you that 40% of the cost was in code required items, 27% in equipment beyond its useful life, 19% in operational efficiency, and then the last 14% being in what we called refresh, for lack of a better word. So I understated previously the amount of cost that was allocated to those three primary categories. And what the team did is looked at the design that had been prepared and tried to make an attempt to demonstrate we were true to the goals of the project of trying to improve the campus, to improve the building overall, addressing those mechanical, electrical, plumbing deficiencies that were part of the original project. And as you can read and see, the team took a proportional share of these elements and decided where they belonged along one of those four continuum. Again, the bottom line total being 86% of the cost is allocated to code, beyond its useful life, or operational efficiency. Each of these divisions that you see from Division 2 all the way down through the bottom are what are called Construction Specification Institute categories. So this building has been broken down into 32 divisions, and then again 4 columns of cost allocation. And as the architects have worked with us and our team to try and understand the cost thoroughly, it's been important it is important to communicate that we chose modest products, modest systems within each of these cost categories. If you were to look at cabinetry or you to look at carpet, you won't see the most extravagant materials and finishes are chosen. This really was an effort to demonstrate that we were modest with our choices here to be cost effective in the resources and expenditures that we were proposing.
JP, real quick, speak to this. So what we have before us, kind of give us an idea of the altitude of the vantage point we're looking at this compared to a 70, 30, or whatever.
When we met with the board last time, we were flying at 30,000 feet. We're down maybe close to 2,000 feet. We have the landing gear deployed. We are ready to land this aircraft at this level. This is a very, very detailed estimate that the architects have prepared for us. So this is the kind of thing that would be the last step, if you will, in making the decision to go out for bid with this project. We've verified that the costs are contained. All of the elements that build up the cost of this project have been identified. This is a 2,000-foot level elevation estimate.
Okay.
Do any board members have any questions?
Just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a breakdown in the format that we needed and wanted. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Have your numbers changed from the 75 to 30? What's your ratio now? Is it the same after this?
Can you ask the question a different way? I'm not following.
So when you left the meeting earlier, you gave me 75% of need, and okay.
So
has that number changed?
That's me going off the top of my mind when I made that comment. When we went to the back room and I was able to pull the detail, that's where we come up with 86%.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is it?
86%.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, bottom of page 7.
Okay.
40, 27, and 19, leaving 14% for
so 86% would be what?
86% is in critical needs, code required elements, beyond its useful life, and operational efficiency. Those things that are core to getting this project complete.
Perfect.
Any board members have any other questions, concerns, comments? Well, I think you did a good job of explaining this. And I do appreciate the detail you gave us. And it looks like that we're being quite frugal and being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars in this this project. Okay. Motion has been made. It's been seconded. If there's no more discussion. Is there any more discussion? Seeing no more discussion, let's put it for a vote. All in favor? Raise your hand. Okay, passes unanimously. Do I have a motion? Motion to adjourn. Do I have one?
Move to adjourn.
Oh, what are there? Oh, you're right. You're right. And that's the one that's my agenda item that I'm It's been a long meeting. Okay. Is there any other items y'all would like on the agenda? Any other things you want to discuss about future agendas? Because that's what this agenda item is. I don't see any. No. Okay. Just making sure that, we need to keep having our, meetings, staying on top of, if it's government relations, we need to stay on top of that. I think we just need to be very mindful of the things that are going on, and we need to stay on top of that. That's what my note would be to the administration, and I do appreciate everyone's hard work today. Seeing nothing else, now I'm asking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Okay. Motion made by Trustee Davis, seconded by Trustee Norris. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, let's put it for vote. Passed unanimously. Thank you all so much. You all have a wonderful day. Thank you all for being with us during our meeting.